Welcome to the On Stage podcast, where we deep dive into the power of music and entertainment. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with the incredibly talented Kat Thompson. Kat is an all around performer who has captivated audiences worldwide with her singing, dancing, and storytelling. She has blossomed into a versatile artist, combining her passions to create heartfelt and powerful music. You also, from your early days of playing piano and writing poetry, you also have toured internationally. You opened for major acts like Eve, Lloyd, and the Jabberwockies.
Yeah.
And you've worked with artists and DJs from across the globe. Your music has received radio play in over 30 countries, and you've been a key figure in various high profile collaborations. Wow.
Oh, thank you. It's very kind.
And notably, your single, Who You Gonna Call? Ghostbusters, made it to the America's Nash Vegas Radio Top 30 and AMR Australia's Top 50. And it's a great song. I really love it.
Thank you so
So
much.
you're welcome. And in addition to your impressive musical achievements, you built your own recording studio in Byron Bay, Australia,
Yes,
where
that's
and
correct.
you continue to write and produce music that resonates with listeners everywhere. Your latest projects include collaborations with artists from diverse genres, showcasing your ability to adapt and innovate. Please join me in welcoming the multi-talented Kat Thompson.
Thank you
Hello,
so much for
Kat.
having me. Hello,
You're
thanks for
welcome.
having me.
You're welcome. What is Australia weather in Byron Bay like these days?
Beautiful today, actually, because we're coming into spring. So all the flowers are out, the butterflies have all come out. It's lovely. We're still getting a touch of the little bit of a cold wind here and there, coming towards the end of winter, start of spring. So, but it's lovely.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the sunshine.
Yeah, I know that Australia's weather is so screwed up because we have summer, and then when we have summer, you have winter, and when we have
Yeah,
winter, you have summer. So I don't think that's
yeah.
fair.
Well, if you're smart about depends on what you like. If you like summer and you don't like winter, then you spend the summer here and then you go to like the northern hemisphere and then you spend it somewhere up there. If you like winter, I know friends who love skiing or they love winter sports and or snowboarding, and so they just try to follow the winter.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing that like we had such a great summer with 97 to 98-degree temperatures. It's hot
Oh
out.
wow.
We've even had some hot days the last couple of weeks, even though it's September. But you just got summer just coming up on the tail end, around November, I believe it is. Your summer
Yeah.
is?
Yeah, that's true.
Ah, I'm
But
so
it's
jealous.
beautiful. The
I
thing
want
though is
that
it
summer
depends.
back.
Do you like really hot weather? Because if you like that, Australia's where you need to be. But if you don't like hot weather, this is the worst place to be. So it depends on what you like.
Yeah. Well, Kat, really appreciate you being on the show. Can you go
Thank
back
you.
to the beginning? What inspired you to pursue a career in music?
Um, I always loved music. I cannot think of a time where I didn't love music. Um, from what I've been told by my mum, I was singing before I could walk. So yeah, I think I was just one of those children that really just gravitated towards sound and audio and noise and instruments, and yeah, I was one of those kids.
And what do you believe were the first bands or first pop tunes or classical music that got you going, you know what? I can't stop moving my feet. I got to get into music. It's inevitable, you know.
Yeah, definitely, um, like R&B artists and pop artists. When I was little, I really loved a range of different artists. So, but for me, it was the big voices. So your artists like your Whitney Houston's, your Mariah Carey's, your Celine
Mhm.
Dion's, like they had incredible voices. And then, you know, your artists like your Michael Jackson's, like they just had something incredible. And so whenever you just put the record on or you listen to that, you could just sit there and just go, oh, this is amazing. So, and as a kid, I was really drawn to great singers. And so that's that was a big influence for me.
Yeah. Do you think your multicultural background influenced your music style?
I think so, yeah, because I'm half Filipino. And my dad's from Northern Ireland, my mum's Filipino. And with Filipinos, they love singing and dancing. Like so do the Irish. But with Filipinos especially, they bring out the karaoke machine, and they all have a signature song. They all come out, and I don't know if you've ever been to a Filipino party, but there's always a karaoke machine, and every single person jumps up and at different points throughout the night, and they all have a song that they sing, and like yeah, it's just something that's part of the culture.
Okay, so you're at a karaoke. What's the first song that you would sing?
Uh, so that I'm at one of my auntie's houses. Um, I would just sing whatever would be available. But one of the things that I would always have is like they would hand the mic over and they would go hit that high note or sing this part for me. So it wouldn't be something that I would specifically choose. It would just be something that they'd throw the mic and be like, "You sing this part," and I'd be like, "Okay."
That's amazing. So now, what was the first song you ever wrote?
So I actually was a bit of a pain in the butt for my piano teacher when I was 6.
Mhm.
Instead of practicing what the piano teacher wanted me to practice, 'cause you know how they set you a lesson and then they go
Mhm.
home and practice, "This is your homework." I would come back each week and she'd say, "Well, did you practice?" And I'd say, "No, but I made this up. Do you wanna listen to this composition?" And so my piano teacher would be like, "This is great, but you need to practice what I send you home with." So that I had already started making up little melodies on the piano and going down that path without realizing that was something I'd want to do. I just enjoyed doing it as a child, um, which drove my piano teacher nuts.
I bet. So, how did growing up in Brisbane shape your musical journey?
Um, Growing up in Brisbane, we had a very wonderful Filipino community that was very supportive of anyone who wanted to get up on a stage and sing and dance. We have
Mm,
multicultural festivals. And so I was very blessed from a young age to be allowed on a stage. And
mm.
so growing up in the Brisbane in Brisbane city, I had the Brisbane Filipino community, and so most weekends they would say, "Oh, you should come and perform here, or you should come perform there, or oh, we're having this event. Oh, we'd love for you to come and sing a song." And so it was a wonderful experience because it allowed me to develop as a performer and get over stage fright and all those things at a very young age, in an environment where people were very welcoming.
Were you able were you ever able to pick up the language, Filipino language?
Yeah, actually, I taught myself how to speak Tagalog, which is our national language.
And have you ever thought of writing music or singing, songs in that language?
I have actually. They haven't been released actually. I worked with a producer a while back who also is Filipino, and we worked on a few songs, but we didn't end up releasing them.
Hmm. So what do you think is your favorite instrument to play?
Oh, I would still say piano. I love piano. I love guitar, but my first love was always piano.
So do you feel that there's a difference of feeling or emotion when you play the guitar to the piano, that you're gravitating
Yeah.
towards piano?
Actually, to be fair, I love each instrument as I'm playing them, so it's a like you said, it's a different relationship, but my first love was piano as a child, because as a kid, we used to walk past the music store, and the music store had this, you know, those pianolas where they just play by themselves? And so as a
Oh,
kid,
yeah, I
we
love those things, yeah.
yeah, and so as a child, you can imagine walking past a music store. They were very smart marketing. They had this piano at the entrance that would play by itself, and I used to say, "Oh, the ghost is playing the piano again," because you couldn't there was nobody there, and so
The
I'd run up
ghost.
and yeah, as a little kid, I was like, "Oh, the ghost is playing the piano," and so I'd run up and I'd try to follow all the keys. So that was my first love when it came to instruments. But then when because I spent quite a lot of my childhood in Japan,
Mhm.
um, one of the curriculum in Japan is that you learn how to play the harmonica. So I learned
Oh,
that, and
wow.
that yeah, so I play harmonica, and I love playing that, and that brings a different element. But then I taught myself guitar and other things, and like yeah, each instrument I fall in love with as I play them. But my very first instrument was piano.
Are you able to play the bass guitar without any difficulty?
No, I haven't played bass guitar, but it's on the list of things I want to try doing at some point.
I'm sure you'll be able to succeed if you put your mind to something.
Thank you.
So how do you describe your songwriting process? Like, for instance, your song "If I Go," how did you put that one together?
So If I Go was a collaborative project between myself and some artists in Peru, and it was a really cool project because we had a couple of different collaborators all come together and work on the melody and throw ideas together. And then once we had the melody and all that sort of sorted, they sent me. Obviously, we're in different countries, so they sent me a mix down, and I then continued working on it, and I wrote the lyrics and the top melody. And so different projects, different things. Some things I'll produce, some things I'll do the top lining, other things I'll write the melodies. So or just the lyrics. It really depends on the project. In this case, it was quite collaborative, and yeah. And then I recorded the vocals, and we did all the mixing and back and forth. And yeah, that's how it all came out.
So do you prefer to write the lyrics first or the music first?
It depends. So I often like to write stuff at the same time. So if I'm on the piano, I'll just start playing chords and keys, and then the melody will start coming where I'm playing the chords and creating that melody pattern on the piano. But then a vocal melody will start popping into my head. And as the vocal melody is working, some lyrics might pop in at the same time, depending on the vibe and the energy. Other times, if I'm on the guitar, sometimes I'm working on a pattern that I like, and then depending on how that feels, I go, "Oh, this seems like a very sad song," so I start working in that direction. Or if I go, "Oh, this needs to pick up a little bit," it'd be more fun if it was a little bit more faster. Then I sort of start working in that direction, and the lyrics come there.
What do you feel about experience? Like, for instance, a lot of songwriters write songs according to experience. Like, for instance, there's a band who wrote a song about the death of a loved one. So there's a lot of feeling and emotion in that. So, what would your experience be with Be Free? What was the life that happened that you had to write Be Free? Or is that just a song you love so much you decide to call it Be Free?
So Be Free was also a collaborative venture with a group called Sax Beats, very talented duo from Sydney, and the sax on there is Melina. She's amazing.
Mm.
So when I was working with them, they said initially we got together, we did a gig together in Sydney, and then they said, "Oh, we should totally do a song together." And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it. It'll be fun." And so we were bouncing around ideas, and they said, "We'd love for you to jump on this one." And so they had actually created the melody and the music for that initially and sent that through. And then I had to listen to it, and based off how the music made me feel and the vibes, I sort of felt, "Ooh, this could be a great escape style song. Like, take my hand, let's run away together, let's live life to the fullest." And that's what Be Free is about. It moved the music moved me in that direction. So I can't say there was a moment in life that clicked that. Sometimes the music itself speaks to me, and then I'm just a channel for that music.
What themes do you often explore in your music?
I actually, like you said, with experiences, I like to explore all different, um, not just genres, but experiences, storylines. I, I I look at something and I go, "Ooh, this would be so beautiful if."
Mhm.
And so, sometimes it's my own life experiences, and it could be heartbreak, it could be happiness, it could be a moment of frustration. So, different things will actually come together and make me feel like writing something. Sometimes, honestly, it's other art, other forms of art inspire me. So, I might be watching a TV show or a movie at a time, and the characters are going through a certain thing. And it's moved me so much that I've cried. Art is beautiful, and so it made me feel so emotional that it sat with me. And so maybe the next day I'm walking through the kitchen, and then I go, "No, I need to write this." So I sit down and get the guitar out, and I start writing. So things like that, it will influence me. It could even be not my personal experience. It could be a friend's personal experience, and their story has touched me so much that I want to write about it. Yeah, so I don't I don't have a limitation on where inspiration comes from.
Well, part not really where inspiration comes from, but what about writer's blocks, where the time that you just can't think of a line or you just can't
Yeah,
think of a melody? What do you do to overcome that?
take a walk. Like, sometimes the best thing to do is there's different approaches, and I do them all at different points. Sometimes I will sit on it for a good hour and just keep pushing until I can break through the writer's block, and other times I go, "You know what? It's 3 in the morning. I've been writing this for quite some time and it's just not clicking. I think I'm going to go to bed and wake up in the morning and then have a look at it again." Or sometimes it's just a matter of it's like the reset button. You get up, you go for a walk, you get out in nature, and then you come back and you're like, I've got it.
And
So
you
it
feel
just depends.
refreshed.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes just a cup of tea works. Just depends.
Yeah. Well, I've been wanting to know, Kat, like how do you balance being a singer, songwriter, and producer?
Well, that's the best part. It's not about so much balance, it's about what's needed at the time. So if it's me and I'm working on my own stuff, sometimes I just do everything. And so I do the writing, the production, and obviously the recording and all that jazz. Um, or if, let's say, I'm working on a project with some friends and they send me something and they go, "Oh, do you like this guitar riff, or do you like this synth melody? Like, tell me what you think about this." And I go, "Oh, this is wonderful. Yeah, let's do something." And then there and then we go, "Okay, well, what part do you want to do?" "Oh, I'd like to do the lyrics," or "I'd like to do that." And so what's needed at the time may not be my production skills, or what's needed at the time may not be my voice. So whatever the project needs, I can come in and go, "Oh, I can offer this, or I can offer that," or yeah, it's not so much balancing, it's more so having this wonderful palette of colors, and I can pull whatever color I want into the painting.
Wow, I love that expression. It's
Thank
amazing.
you.
How do you, with all that going on with the singing, the songwriting, the blocks, the themes, um, being a producer, how do you deal with your mental health?
Uh, um, I think music really does heal. Music in itself is very healing. So, I do think that stress does come with the industry that we're in. I don't know anybody in especially the last few years, that hasn't faced some form of difficulty, whether it's anxiety, stress, myriad of all different types of things that you can go through, especially during what we've all lived through. Um,
Mm.
but for me, music has always been very healing, um, and then if the music isn't helping me, which sometimes that happens. Sometimes, you're too deep in a project and music is what's stressing me. Like sometimes that happens. Um, I go for that cup of tea or I go for that walk. So, and then I come back refreshed. And then once again, I'm going, I feel so much better now. So I can get back into what I love doing.
What is the mindset sometimes when you hear one of your songs on the radio? Like, for instance, "Who You Gonna Call?" You go like,
Yeah.
like, how do you feel?
So when I hear my song on the radio, um, actually, I love it. I think it's fun. It's so cool that something that
I don't really pay no mind. Oh yeah, don't hit my line, don't call me bougie, boy. I am stolen. I'm contacting you, wildin'. Don't hit my line, don't call me bougie.
I worked on in a little room with other people or just myself, regardless of which song it is and now its own thing. It's out in the world, and someone else can enjoy it, and something that I created hopefully makes someone else's day better.
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, we get such a toe tapping music. Cat Thompson. You know.
Ah, see, that's beautiful. I love that. I just want my music to make other people feel, and
Hmm.
whether it's if it's a sad song, like If I Go, for example, um, I think that it it is healing to process emotion. And if you're going through a breakup or through a difficult situation, I think there is a place for sad songs because it helps you process that. And then once you've processed that and you're ready for happy songs again, you'll play the happy songs again. And that then is the theme song for your night. Or
Hmm.
it's yeah, or it's what you play at New Year's and you're having a great time. It becomes the fabric of memories.
What would you consider to be a sad song? Like, is that because you lost somebody, or you have a breakup, or you lost a friend? What to you would be considered a sad song?
I think all of above. I think that life is a journey, and through life we will feel all different experiences, some good, some bad. And with a sad song, there's going to be a song for every experience. So you lose a friend, you lose a loved one, you lose your heart to someone and they break it. I think there's a place for each song. So for me, I don't really have one particular topic that I think shines above the rest. I think everything's relative, and there is a song for each moment.
What about someone singing a song like that? They've never experienced a loss in that magnitude. Do you think there's a difference in feeling and theme if you or you write your own song about loss because someone's going to actually listen to your song and they're going to think, "I love that song," and then you find out what it's about and they're like, "Oh, really?" How do you feel about that?
I personally think that once the song is like, as creatives and as writers, we create something because we feel it. We feel something, and it's about a story that we're passionate about, or the music moves us to feel a certain way. And so we're channeling the story's just channeling through us.
Mhm.
So we create this, and it's ours in that moment. But then once we put it out into the world, it's yours. And so it can be whatever you need it to be in that moment. And for some people, they will listen to just the melody, and that alone moves them. I know people who will listen to a song and they'll never know the lyrics. They're beat people, or they're people who are lyric people. And so it's quite incredible how everybody hears the same song completely differently, and they take what they need from it. And I think that's wonderful and that's beautiful. And so for someone who might listen to, you probably recall there used to be a song called "Wind Beneath My Wings" by Bette Midler.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I know people who would listen to that, and they dedicate that to a living person who has supported their journey the entire time. And for them, they're saying, "You're the wind beneath my wings. You've helped me rise above adversity or difficulties."
Mm.
But then I used to know a girl when I was much younger, and her father had passed away. And so that was her dedication song to her dad. And so she took from that song what she and her family felt appropriate for them, whereas other people dedicate it to a living family member or living friend or someone. So it's not always applicable to take the one song and sorry, let me rephrase that. You don't you can't put the song out and expect everybody to listen to it and receive it the same way, if that makes sense. I hope that makes
Yeah,
sense.
makes perfect sense. I'm thinking of that
Yeah.
Elton John song. Well, he did one called "Funeral for a Friend," but he also wrote one called "Goodbye Norma Jean," which is about Marilyn Monroe. But
Yes.
people who knew Marilyn Monroe back then feel for that song "Goodbye Norma Jean," because Marilyn Monroe's real name is Norma Jean Baker, and he wrote that for the death of her. But then Princess Diana died, and then he took
Yes.
that song. Now it's for Diana Spencer, and I'm like,
Yes.
you're taking a song you wrote relating to some other actress who passed away. Now you're making it towards Princess Diana. Like, well, how do you feel about that?
I think that as the writer, if he felt that was appropriate and he felt that was right in the moment, I don't know the history or the back story. Maybe there was a connection with that song. Maybe she connected with that song, and that's why it was dedicated to her. There are so many millions of reasons why someone will fall in love with a song and then dedicate that to a loved one. Um, as weird as it sounds, there are songs that and my dad's passed away, and so there are songs that you wouldn't think um, mean anything to do with a loved one, but there were
Mhm.
songs that he loved. He personally loved them, and so because he loved those songs, I hear them now, and it makes me think of him. So I'm not sure what the story was behind why he chose that song, but I think it's a beautiful song. And I think that if that was his dedication to her and he felt it was right in the moment, then it must be right.
That's amazing. Oh, so what was it like for opening for major international acts like Eve and Lloyd?
Ah, fun. Lots of fun. Yeah, I love performing. So it's always a joy, absolute joy. And to the coolest part was also being able to watch them from side
Mhm.
stage, because either I'm in the audience or in further away. So when you
Mhm.
get to perform opening act, you do get the joy of being side stage in this unique position to watch their show, and also you're lucky enough to get to meet them backstage. So it's comes with some cool perks.
Who did you like better, Eve or Lloyd?
Oh, that's not fair.
Oh.
Oh no, I think that both artists were great in their own right, and they were two different types of artists. Eve's a female rapper, and Lloyd is an R&B male artist, vocalist. So
Wow.
different style performances. Um, yeah,
No, that was amazing. And that must have been giving you this emotional high. I can't believe I'm sharing the stage with Eve and Lloyd.
yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely one of those memorable moments.
Well, can you share a memorable experience from your tours in the Solomon Islands?
Yeah, um, amazing, beautiful people. Beautiful natural beauty of the place. Like I say beautiful, beautiful twice, but it is. It's such a naturally beautiful place. Um, just think beautiful tropical island. It's a such a lovely place to visit. The people are really friendly. Um, something that I noted as well, I feel like the fruit like we were there for several shows, and I've been there now for touring. I've been there 4 times. And yeah, I swear the fruit is sweeter there. I don't know whether that's true or not or just placebo, but yeah, so that was really cool. And one of the things that I did there was I did a New Year's Eve concert tour there,
Mhm,
and oh my god, it was so hot. Like I think you think in Australia it's hot, but
mhm.
I was dancing and singing on stage, and it got so hot at one point, I couldn't feel like I just felt like jelly. You know, when you work out so
Really?
hard? Yeah, and I never felt like that before, ever. Like I just felt like my muscles and everything had turned to jelly. It was so hot on stage.
Well, I've seen Madonna and Britney Spears and other artists. They're actually singing, and they have like this microphone over their
Oh, yeah,
ear to
yeah,
go, yeah, and they're dancing and singing at the same time.
yeah.
That's impossible. How do you do that?
Lots of practice. Lots and lots of practice. And cardio workout. It's definitely definitely a balancing act between your cardio, vocal technique, um, and making sure that you learn the choreography and adjust the choreography to help with your performance. So try to avoid a lot of jumping, things like that if you're singing a long note.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, like that song "Toxic" by Britney Spears. There was a lot of jumping and jumping there, so, you know?
Yeah, so it's timing your choreography, timing your breath, timing where the lyrics land. There's a bit of science that comes into it when you're or well, science is not the right word. More uh calculating exactly when to breathe and when to exhale, like little things that you have to do to make sure that you have enough breath for the next note.
How do you feel about acoustics? Like, when you sing at a venue, are acoustics important to you?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that with a good sound system, and with a good sound guy, if, and you're very blessed when you get someone who's very kind and makes you sound good. Um, yeah, with a good sound guy and a good sound system, you can overcome things. But yeah, it can make a difference if you're fighting or well, I wouldn't be, but the sound man, whoever's setting everything up, if they're fighting the room, um, I'm sure there would be some logistics around having to get around that, make it easier. Like I do know for a fact that when you do open air, they have to actually make adjustments for outdoor
Mm.
versus indoor. And I've performed on stages where they haven't provided us enough fallback or sound. So when I'm on stage, I can't hear anything, and it does
Mm.
make it much more difficult. So I'm very, very thankful for the geniuses who set up the sound before I turn up and make it possible for me to actually sound good on stage.
Yeah, but also your voice has to resonate with the audience too, because they don't wanna,
Yeah.
like, some of them are back listening to you, and they're like, "What did she say there? What's that lyric there?"
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. So how did you get involved with the World Supremacy Battlegrounds as an international judge? That seems very interesting.
Oh, thank you. So I'm actually a dancer as well as a singer. So, and for a long time, I've incorporated hip hop dance into my performances. I've worked with choreographers, and like I was saying, when we were on stage in the Solomons, um, I was dancing on stage and singing with my backup dancers. So, I have a history and a background in dance, and have run a lot of auditions. I've personally run the auditions, and worked alongside my choreographers to create live shows with dance. So it was a natural sort of, I get place for me to come in and assist in that regard. We had different judges from different places, and the different judges all bring a different perspective. For me, it's more of a commercial perspective. I come in and I look at because when you like a good example is like, you were mentioning Britney with Toxic, or like she's got a lot of backup dancers.
Mhm.
So she has to work alongside her dancers when they're creating that show. Um, and so that's something that a lot of performers like myself, if we're working alongside dancers, we have a vision, and it's similar to when crews work together. They come together and put the show together. So from a commercial perspective, I was coming in to lend my knowledge in that regard.
What's the criteria that you look for?
For me, I love cleanliness. I love
Oh.
it when, yeah, when I mean cleanliness, I mean in dance.
Mhm.
So, um, if you watch a crew or even a performance with a singer and a group of dancers, if they're all in sync and they're everyone's hitting everything at the same time and all the lines are clean and everything looks, um, what's the word? Where everything's flowing and moving together. I love that. I think that I think there's strength in numbers in life, and there's strength in numbers on the stage as well. And if everyone is in harmony, same with music, it's a much stronger picture. It looks really great. As opposed to like in music, Discord, where everyone's doing something different. If and they're not in harmony. Sometimes that looks great. Sometimes Discord works, but a lot of the time, if everyone's not working together, it ends up looking a bit messy. So I really love clean lines, and I love it when everyone is in sync with each other.
Yeah, you must have a good ear in order to depict whether the person's going to be out of sync, even if they're a millimeter of a second out, that you could be able to detect that. Because to hear actually perfection, that's a experienced ear right there. Don't you agree?
Oh yeah. I think there are people in the world who are much better than I'll ever be. And yeah, bow down to them for that. Because yeah, it takes experience and skill to develop a very good ear. There are people who have perfect pitch. I wish I was one of
Mhm.
them. Well, as far as I know, I don't have perfect pitch. But yeah, experience and skill come in, and time to develop the ear. So yeah, a lot of respect, especially to others in the industry who have much better ears than I'll ever have.
Must have been quite an experience. Like, wow, I'd love to be a judge, like Simon Cowell. Hello, I'm Simon Cowell. You know?
It was actually it was actually quite cute and fun because because I'd performed there quite often over the years. Some of the dance crews actually used some of my songs in their sets, so it was quite surprising and fun to see little things like that throughout the competition.
Wow. So, can you tell us about your collaboration with Melandrew on "Don't Fall in Love" and "All I Need"? How did that come to be?
Ah, that's a fun one. We actually met online via online gaming. So, we
Oh,
used to play. Yeah, it was complete out of the blue. So,
wow.
yeah, I used to play a game called Guild Wars 2. And so he and a bunch of different friends, we all played online, and didn't didn't know that we were both musicians. And one day I think he found out. I can't remember how, but he found out, and he was just like, I didn't know you were a musician. I didn't know you were into music." And I said, "Oh yeah." And he said, "So am I." And I said, "What?" And so we shared links, and I was like, How have we known each other this long and didn't know we both did music? Like, it just never came out in conversation." So anyway, he was like, "We should totally do a track together." And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So he lives in the Netherlands. And
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah. So completely different end of the world. And yeah, so we worked on the track together, and we bounced some ideas around, and I recorded some stuff here, he recorded some stuff there. He's a beautiful pianist. So he wrote some of the piano melodies, and anyway, long story short, we got together, and that's how we created two songs.
I'd be interested in knowing what it was like working with DJ and saxophone duo Sax Beats on "Be Free." How did that collaboration come to be?
That was the duo that I worked with in Sydney, and yeah, we initially they hit me up for a gig, and I went and did the gig. It was fun, and they said, "Well, we love your voice. Would..." And I said, "Well, I love what you guys do." And it was this beautiful connecting of creative minds, and we decided to come together and create a track. Um, and then they actually hit me up and said, "Oh, we need a rapper." And I said, "Oh, I've got a friend who could do that." And so we brought on an American rapper called Kevin Hannibal, and he came in and he
Mm.
did the rap section for us.
Wow, that's amazing. All the people you find to collaborate with. Wow.
Thank you.
Kat, do you feel a spiritual connection to your music? Like, how does this connection influence the way you create and perform?
I definitely believe that my soul and my heart is happiest when I'm creating and doing music and art. So I definitely think there is a connection there. Um, for me, I just I don't know how to explain it. I just get the music just starts, or I start playing and it just flows. So I don't know how that works. But that's just what happens. And I think it's very beautiful. I'm sure there are others out there who have a similar experience. That the music just starts and they feel it and it happens.
So if you write a particular piece of music that you don't feel a spiritual connection to, do you try to make it work or you just kind of scrap it? What's your thoughts on
Um,
that?
yeah, I'll be honest, there depends. So if we're writing for sync and we're writing for a specific project, and it's not for me personally, it's for somebody else. Um, and there's a brief and we're told this is what we need to create for somebody else. That's not for me to decide that it's not good
Mm.
enough, or it's up. I create something for them, and I create it with as much love as I would create anything. I don't put a half anything job in. If I'm doing it, I do it 110%. And then if they love it and they connect with it, I'm so happy. But when I'm creating something for myself and it doesn't feel right for me, then I scrap it, or I bench it. I put it on the side. Maybe it's not for me. Maybe it's for somebody else. So,
Yeah.
and I think that's important to
Yeah.
do songs that you love for yourself, but it is good to be able to write and work with other people if they have a vision and you're supporting them, to not be like, oh, I'm a princess about this. I don't want to do it because it's not for me. It's for that person, and you have to do your best for them.
Yeah. Talking about inspiration, how did you come to build your own recording studio in Byron Bay? Did you have help for that?
Yeah, actually, it was a crazy experience actually, because we were supposed to be in the States. My management are in the US, and I was supposed to pack up, go to the States, and start doing shows over there. And then obviously the pandemic hit.
Hmm.
So I had to realign what I wanted to do, because, and as we know, everyone said, oh, it's only going to be a few months. It's only going to be this. You probably remember that at the start. Everyone said,
Yeah.
oh, this will blow over in a few months.
Hmm.
And it didn't. And one of the things that got hit the most was our industry. The entertainment industry as a whole got hit. We couldn't perform, or if you were performing, there were so many hurdles to get things
Hmm.
going. And one of the things also was studios. Studios being a space where everyone's in a tight little space, it became more and more difficult to get into a studio or to work with other people in studios. So I thought, well, I don't want to stop creating. So I'm going to build my own studio. And so that's what I did. Um, and luckily, we've got family who live on a farm. And so we basically, as a family, we all came together and we sort of worked out what to do. And as you live on a farm, you have to do things like build fences,
Hmm.
keep the cattle in, etc. So we had some tools in the shed that could be used, and then I ordered in, which was amazing during a pandemic, because the supply chains were down. So
Hmm.
it was very hard at points to get things. Um, but we ordered in what we could, and then I built the studio with what we had.
And now you're the best singer-songwriter in Australia.
Oh, you're very kind. Thank you. I wouldn't say that, but thank you.
What challenges do you think you faced in the music industry, and how did you overcome them?
Knowledge. I think when when I was embarking as a young musician,
Hmm.
um, I'm not saying that I'm old either, but but when I was embarking especially as a teenager, a lot of
Hmm.
my friends around me would say, "Oh, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be a nurse. I'm going to be a
Hmm.
this. You know, I want to be whatever they want to be." And I remember sitting with the school counselor, and I'm not sure if this is a normal thing that's done at every school. I'm assuming that every school has a school counselor that sits you down in grade 11 or 12 and and
Hmm.
they say, what do you want to be? What career path? And if you choose, you could go to, in Australia, we call it TAFE, I think. I'm not sure in Canada and in the US, I think they call it community college.
Yep.
Yeah. Is that what they call it in Canada?
Community
Community.
college. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So if you want a trade, what we call a trade in Australia is like, you want to become a plumber or something.
Yeah.
These are or you can, yeah, you can go down these routes. If you want to be just pick a medical professional of some sort, these are the courses that you need to do, and you need to get this many points to be able to do this course so that you can actually go on to this career path. With music, there was, and especially contemporary music, popular music, the entertainment industry, there wasn't a clear path. And so I think that was a very difficult thing to navigate, going into uncharted territories where nobody in a tertiary setting could sit down and say, oh, well, these are the courses you should take. And these are the steps. And if you want to become a lawyer, you do this, and then you have to pass the
Yeah.
bar. And then, yeah, so I had to go gung ho into the industry and just try to swim amongst the sharks.
Yeah.
So for me, I found that was a difficulty. And so I got around it by trying to meet as many people in the industry as possible and trying to gather as much knowledge I could, and research as much as I could.
Was it
So
difficult to get your songs up on Spotify there?
um luckily nowadays it's not very hard at all. You can go and pick a distribution company. There are quite a few to choose from online. And you pick the best pricing for yourself or your setup, and you pay for the distribution. So nowadays it's definitely not hard to get music up on Spotify. Um, I think marketing is more of the harder end of things. It's not hard to distribute. It's harder to make sure that once it's distributed, that a lot of people can access it or know about it. Sorry, accessing it's not the hard part.
Yeah. Can you share a moment in your life when music was your only solace? Like, how did it help you navigate through that difficult time?
Music has always been a driving force for me. And I think like everybody, we all go through ups and downs. Um, I've had experiences even with breakups when I was um, not in a good place, and that happens. We've all had our heart broken at some point. So for me, music has been um, a great help in that regard, and even being able to write about the experiences that has helped as well. So yeah, I don't think I'm unique in that regard. I think that so many people find solace in music.
Yeah, I find that in my really darkest moments, there were certain songs that kind of boosted me up, but then silence,
Yeah.
just total silence helps out as well. And
Yes,
you're like,
that's
"I gotta
true.
listen to and this is time to listen to that song and this and that," and then it boosts you up,
Yeah,
right?
definitely, definitely, and it also helps you process, like, if you're going through a very difficult, let's say it's a breakup, which we've all experienced, um, and you don't know how to feel,
Mhm.
you don't know how to express the 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 turmoil that you're feeling inside, then the right song plays and you're like, "That's exactly it. That is this song was for me. They're talking about me." Like that, and so that's a universal experience. And so that's why I think that music is so powerful. It's healing and it helps. And then it also makes you happy. So at the right times.
That's true. Kat, I wanna know how you handle harsh criticism or negative feedback about your work. Like, has there ever been a critique that deeply affected you? Mm.
I've been doing music since I was young, so I had to develop a thick skin from a very young age. Even when I was younger, I remember like I'd perform, and then um, you know, through your community, whispers, people say things, you'd hear stuff, and I learned from a young age to just go, you know what, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks, as long as I'm doing something that I enjoy and as long as I'm not harming anyone And as long as there are other people out there who enjoy what I'm doing, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing.
That's a good attitude to have, especially as a musician.
Thank you. It's not easy. I'll be honest. Like, people always have something to say, but whether you're 2 or 100, someone's always going to have an opinion. But
That's
at the
right.
end of the day, just enjoy what you're doing. That's the most important thing.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm just so can you describe that experience of having your music video for Be Mine aired on national TV in the US? What was going through your mind? Quite exciting.
That was really cool. Like, yeah, so it got picked up by a really cool TV show called Sidewalks Entertainment. And yeah, they are amazing.
Can it be mine, baby? Can it be mine, baby? When you're with me, you ain't gotta search no more, baby. Like fantasy, I'll be all that you need, boy. If you want me new, how much more I want your body? If you want me to, come on, boy, touch my body. So when you
And it aired across different networks and different channels across the US. And it also, they air into the Caribbean, and also they air into parts of Latin America, I believe. So it was really cool. Definitely a bucket list tick.
Do you kind of look at it and thinking, I could have done that differently? No, I don't really like it. Or you're like, yes, yes, yes. Look at that. I'm famous.
I'm more like it's a weird one because like I don't look at anything in the past and go, "Oh, I hate that," because if it's part of my journey, it's part of like I
Mhm.
am who I am today because of the steps that I took before. And so I look back in appreciation that other people enjoyed something that I created. Um and then it's almost like you create, it's your little baby. You create it, you put it out into the world, and if it flies, you're like, "Yay!" So and yeah, so I don't look at anything that I've done in the past and go, "Oh god," unless at the time I was very unhappy with it. In which case I would be very careful about putting something out that I'm not happy with. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
I try not to put things that I don't like.
you don't want to put out something that you're not happy with. You want people to enjoy it, and it's sort of like you also
Yeah.
want to enjoy it and be close to the song as well.
Yeah,
Was there
definitely.
is there a certain song that was most painful for you to write? Like something like would have affected you emotionally?
Every single song along the way affects me in different ways. So some songs like Be Mine are fun and they bring me
Mhm,
joy. Um, If I Go was, and that's the one that I did with my Latin American artist friends. Um, that one was a very deep song. And
mhm.
when you write stuff like that, you have to delve into a darker place.
Mm.
So you do feel it when you're creating it. And you feel it again when you hear it again and when you sing it again. So it is what it is, but I believe in creating honestly and creating music that if it moves you in a certain way, it you shouldn't hold it back.
Do you fear that exposing your deepest emotions through your music might be too revealing? Like, how do you balance vulnerability with self-protection?
Weirdly enough, I don't worry about that because there was somebody along the way who shed their heart and soul into a song, and that helped me heal, and that helped me grow and get through a difficult period when maybe I was going through first heartbreaks or, loss of love or loss of a family member. So somebody poured their heart into a song, and that helped me get through. So for me to pour my heart into music and put it out into the world, I'm I'm giving back so that somebody else out there will hear that and hopefully that will help them heal in return.
You were saying earlier about how you lost your dad. I lost my dad over 20 years ago, and there's
Right.
certain songs that make me be reminded of him.
Yeah.
Um, do you ever felt like your music was the only way to express the chaos inside you?
There's always chaos inside me. So, I think that's the nature of the beast. I mean, if you're a creative type, you're always having a little bit of chaos going on, and it's like the universe, isn't it? Like it's a swirling mass of all different things, and from it you take your paintbrush and you dip a little in there, and then you create something from that. So, yeah, I don't mind the chaos. It it can be overwhelming at times. Sometimes it's annoying to have so many thoughts running through your head or so many ideas or things going on. But yeah, from that chaos comes beauty. So I don't mind it.
Yeah, sometimes I wish I could just pick up the phone, call my father, and tell him some of the things that I've been going through, just for that solace, just for that comfort, just
Yeah.
to feel something inside. But
Yeah.
you probably feel that same way as
I
well, that you wish your dad was around, that you could just, hey, listen, my music was on TV in the States. Isn't that great? I'm so proud
yeah.
of you. So it's difficult sometimes.
I think
Um,
it's a universal experience. I don't One of the hardest things I think anyone experiences is losing a loved one. I don't I I mean, maybe there are people out there who don't feel this way. I don't know. I can't speak for everybody, but I do know it's quite a common experience amongst us, the human experience, the human journey to lose people we love. So I definitely agree that I think there's a lot of us out there that wish we could still pick up the phone and have another conversation. I even like even last night I was doing something and I thought, oh, it'd be so nice just to hear the voice again, to say hi. It doesn't even have to be like a long conversation. Just to say hi would be nice, but is what it is, and that's what
yeah,
makes love so special.
yeah, it's funny, like the stars, like the voice of like Morgan Freeman or Patrick Stewart. Every time you read a quote from them, you actually read it in their voice. So
Yes. Yes.
I I always think of my father and all the advice he gave me, which I didn't need back then, but I need now, and I
Yeah.
always remember it, and it's actually said in his voice.
Yeah.
So it's kinda interesting. It's okay, so I remember him, in the kitchen or in the living room and sitting me down and said, "Well," and then telling me about his days in the Netherlands because he's I'm half Dutch,
Oh,
and
wow.
when I was a boy, I this is what I would have do, it's really good,
Yeah.
really yeah,
It's just beautiful. It just goes to show that a piece of him will always live within
yeah.
you or live inside you. So, yeah, that's special. Um, I do think that, like, there are even like you were saying with Morgan Freeman and quotes, like, Robin Williams, there are still, like, like, he was an incredible actor,
Mhm.
and some of his quotes, I still hear things that he's, like, growing up with his films and things, I still hear some of his quotes and in his voice in my head.
Okay, here's a random question for you. So you said, so who would you like to narrate your life? Me, it would be Patrick Stewart. How about you?
Patrick Stewart, oh, wow, narrate life. I don't know, Morgan Freeman's pretty cool.
Can you imagine? And Cat Thompson just got in from playing it. That just I can imagine that. That's funny. That'd be great. Imagine
Yeah,
Morgan
Morgan Freeman's
Freeman
a great
narrates Cat
voice.
Thompson. Yeah. So how did it feel to be nominated for 2023 Queensland Music Awards?
For Malanga, that was wonderful. It was so nice, and especially because, it was a project that I really enjoyed doing, and I loved working with, Future Destin, who's the artist who I worked with on that song, and, yeah, it was a fun track, and, it's just nice that other people enjoyed it.
And what about the inspiration behind your latest track, If I Go with Moro, Ferdinand, Lakeside, and Mora? How was that working with them?
Lovely. They're a joy. Absolutely lovely people. And yeah, it was a really cool bounce back and forth. Obviously, um they were really good in the sense where we sometimes also have, because they speak Spanish, and obviously I speak English. So there was this lovely like back and forth where at times we would be talking and there might be a word that I didn't understand or they didn't understand, and so we would Google translate some things. But it was lovely working with them. They're a lot of fun, very sweet people. Um, yeah, and very talented. Amazing to work with fellow creatives who are extremely talented.
Yeah. Kat, what do you believe is the ultimate purpose of your music, and what message do you hope to convey through your music?
For me, music for me is a medium of just creating something that's beautiful, meaningful for me, and sharing that with the world. And I just hope that what I create is either healing or brings hope or brings happiness, or like for me, I get the joy in creating, and I get the joy in performing, and then I get joy in sharing. And for other people, I just hope that they find something in it that brings them what they need. And that could be in the moment, it could be absolute joy. They just want to get up and dance. And for me, that's fantastic. I think, that the more we laugh, the more we smile, the longer we live. So if that's something that I give to someone, fantastic. If they're going through a difficult time and my song helps them through that, the same way other people have created music that helped me through dark times, I've done something beautiful there for them. I really hope that that helps the other person. And so I don't have I just do sad songs or I just do
Hmm.
happy songs. Um, I want to create music that moves people at different stages of their life and in different journeys that they're on the different journeys that they're on.
How do you stay motivated and inspired to create new music?
Um, for me, again, it's just there are there are times when I literally just pick up a guitar and I start vibing with it, and I'm like, "Oh, this is it. This is something I wanna do," or, I'll play piano, or I'll start singing, I'll be in the kitchen. So, I don't I think maybe just because it is part of who I am, I don't have to stay motivated. It just is something that I intrinsically enjoy doing, um, and I love setting goals for myself. So if I'm playing like an instrument at a time, I'm like, I want to be this good at it by 6 months from now. Or I want to, if with music, dance is also included. I want to improve my dance skills. So I want to do this many dance classes, or I want to do this, and this will help me improve. So then I can then create something better and more beautiful for other people.
Okay, everyone, everything will be linked down below for Kat's music, all social media, and you should listen. Really vibey. Uh,
Thank you.
I got one solid more question for you. One solid
Yeah,
more.
that's okay. I know what you mean.
I got one more question for you. Uh, what advice would you give to aspiring musicians?
I think the biggest thing is to educate yourself on the business side of things. Just understand. You don't have to be a music lawyer or, a music accountant, or you don't have to know absolutely everything. But to understand how this business works, because at the end of the day, it is still an industry, it's still a business. And then knowing a little bit about that, you can decide where you want to slot in. And it's like anything, any industry, there is a place for every person in our industry, whether you want to be an aspiring singer, whether you want to be a backup singer, do you want to be the bass guitarist in the band, or do you want to be the sound engineer? Do you want to be the person who sets up these beautiful sets? Like, there's a place for everyone in our industry. Maybe you want to be a music lawyer. Maybe that's where you're but you still enjoy playing with your band on weekends. So it depends on what level you want to get to, how far. So know a little bit more about the business, and then you can decide how much you want to put in, what you want to do, and then you'll find so much joy. Whereas if you go in and you don't know the industry and you don't know what you're doing, it's not the safest industry as well. So if you know a little bit more about the business side, you can protect yourself as you enjoy what you do.
I love those words. Kat, it's been an absolute pleasure having you with us today. Your journey from a young poet and pianist to an internationally acclaimed artist is truly inspiring. Your passion for music and storytelling shines through in every project you undertake, and it's clear that your dedication and talent have touched audiences around the world. We can't wait to see what the future holds for you and to hear more of your incredible music. Thank you for sharing your experiences and insights with us. We wish you all the best in the upcoming projects and collaborations. And to everyone out there who's watching, be sure to check out Kat Thompson's latest tracks on all streaming platforms. Until next time, keep following your passions and stay inspired. Kat, okay, everyone, we're going to end this stream. See you, Kat.
See ya. Thank you.
We gon' call, we gon' run to. When you're alone, baby, 'cause I ain't gon' come through. We gon' go, we gon' lie to. 'Cause I'm really done wasting my time. I don't really pay no mind. Oh yeah, don't hit my line, don't call me bougie boy, I am stolen. I'm contacting you, wildin', you wildin', you wildin'. Don't hit my line, don't call me bougie boy, I am stolen. I'm contacting you, wildin', you wildin', you wildin'. Oh no no, don't hit my line in the morning when you're waking up, baby. There's no more time and no more room for making up or making love. Under the sheets we were making love. Under the radio you faked the love. Over the top you was fake as fuck. You're like no 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 no. Why you have to go 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 go? Now I'm all alone, no 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 no. So low low, oh yeah. We gon' call, we gon' run to. When you're alone, baby, 'cause I ain't gon' come through. We gon' go, we gon' lie to. 'Cause I'm really done wasting my time. I don't really pay no mind. Oh yeah, don't hit my line, don't call me bougie boy, I am stolen. I'm contacting you, wildin', you wildin', you wildin'. Don't hit my line, don't call me bougie boy, I am stolen. I'm contacting you, wildin', you wildin', you wildin'. It's been a nightmare with you. Used to be a table for two. Used to sip by